Imagine opening your bank account and seeing a government deposit worth several $1,000s, not once, but every single month. No job application, no overtime, no complicated benefit calculation. For someone living on a small Social Security, SSI, or SSDI payment, that kind of money could mean no longer choosing between groceries, electricity, rent, and prescription medicine. So let me ask you an honest question. If your income suddenly increased by several $1,000s per month, what would you take care of first? Would you pay off debt, fix your home, help your children, or would you simply enjoy the relief of knowing that one unexpected bill would no longer destroy your entire monthly budget? Tell me your city and state in the comments, because the cost of surviving is very different depending on where you live. And take a moment to like this video so more retirees and benefit recipients can understand what is actually being discussed. Now, before anyone gets too excited, there is something extremely important you need to hear. The federal government has not approved a new $6,000 monthly check for every American. There is no official application, no confirmed payment date, and no law guaranteeing this money. But the idea behind these possible payments is becoming a much more serious conversation, because artificial intelligence, robots, and automation are advancing faster than most people expected. And that raises a massive question. What happens when machines can perform millions of jobs that people currently depend on for income? We are already seeing artificial intelligence handle customer service calls, prepare reports, analyze financial information, create advertisements, write computer code, and perform administrative tasks. Robots are being used in warehouses, factories, restaurants, hospitals, and delivery operations. Self-checkout machines replaced many cashiers. Online systems reduced the need for bank tellers. Automated software is now beginning to affect office employees, accountants, designers, writers, and even some highly skilled professionals. This does not mean every job will disappear tomorrow. But it does mean the country may be moving toward an economy where businesses can produce more goods and services while employing fewer human workers. That sounds wonderful for corporations, because machines do not ask for vacation time. They do not call in sick, they do not need health insurance, retirement contributions, or overtime pay. A robot can work day and night. Artificial intelligence can process enormous amounts of information in seconds. But here is the uncomfortable part. If businesses need fewer employees, millions of people could lose the wages they use to buy food, housing, transportation, and healthcare. And when consumers do not have money to spend, the entire economy suffers. Companies may produce more products, but who buys those products if millions of workers no longer receive paychecks? That is why some technology leaders, economists, and political figures believe governments may eventually be forced to create some form of universal income. You may have already heard the phrase universal basic income. That usually means a smaller guaranteed monthly payment designed to provide a basic financial floor. But some people are now discussing something much bigger, sometimes described as universal high income. The argument is that advanced artificial intelligence and automation could eventually create so much wealth and productivity that governments could redistribute part of that wealth to the public. Instead of receiving only $500 or $1,000 per month, supporters imagine payments large enough to replace a normal working income. This is where figures such as $5,000, $6,000, or even more per month begin appearing in discussions. But those figures are not official government payment amounts. In many cases, they are estimates based on average household earnings or predictions about how much wealth future automation could generate. That is a major difference. A prediction is not a payment. A public discussion is not legislation. And a wealthy technology executive saying something could happen does not mean Congress has approved it. Still, the funding ideas behind this proposal are worth understanding. One possibility is a tax on companies that replace large numbers of employees with artificial intelligence or robots. Think about what happens under the current system. When a person works, taxes are collected from wages. That can include federal income tax, state tax, Social Security tax, and Medicare tax. But when a machine replaces that employee, the worker's payroll taxes disappear. So supporters of a robot tax ask a simple question. If a machine is doing the work of a person, Why should that machine's production escape the taxes previously generated by the worker? The government could tax the company, the automated system, or the productivity created by the machine. That revenue could then help fund monthly payments for people whose jobs were displaced. Another idea is a national investment fund. Under that model, the government could collect money, taxes, fees, or ownership stakes from the largest artificial intelligence and robotics companies. That money could be invested, and part of the investment earnings could be distributed to citizens. In simple terms, if technology companies earn enormous profits by replacing human labor, the public could receive a share of that wealth. It sounds attractive, but it would not be simple. Technology companies would fight aggressive taxes. Some could move operations to other countries. Others could raise prices or reduce hiring and investment. Congress would also have to decide who qualifies. Would children receive a payment? Would wealthy households receive the same amount as low-income households? Would non-citizens qualify? Would payments be taxable? Would the amount be based on household size? And perhaps the biggest question for this community, what would happen to Social Security, SSI, SSDI, Medicaid, SNAP, Medicare, and housing assistance? This is where the conversation becomes much more serious. Social Security retirement and SSDI are generally earned through a person's work history and payroll tax contributions. SSI is different. It is a needs-based program with strict rules regarding income and financial resources. If a future universal payment were counted as income, an SSI recipient could potentially see their SSI payment reduced or stopped unless lawmakers specifically protected the new payment. The same concern could apply to SNAP, Medicaid, rental assistance, and other income-based programs. Imagine receiving a new monthly payment but then losing food assistance, healthcare coverage, or housing support. The headline might say you received thousands of dollars, but the real financial gain could be much smaller after taxes, benefit reductions, and higher prices. Inflation is another risk. If every household suddenly had thousands of additional dollars to spend, but the supply of housing, food, energy, and healthcare did not increase, businesses could charge more. A $6,000 monthly payment sounds enormous today. But if rent rises to $5,000 and groceries double in price, that payment would not create the security people expected. This is why the design of the program would matter more than the exciting dollar amount. The idea of universal income is not ridiculous, but claims that a massive payment is already coming are misleading. Artificial intelligence may eventually change employment so dramatically that the government has no choice but to reconsider how people receive income. That could happen through universal payments, stronger Social Security benefits, expanded tax credits, shorter work weeks, public employment programs, or a completely different system that has not yet been created. For retirees and people with disabilities, the safest approach is to remain informed without planning your budget around money that has not been approved. Thanks for watching Social Security Post, and I'll see you in the next video.